check out 5 of the coolest Airbnbs in Bali. Let's go.
14 days in Bali in 60 seconds. In total, I stayed in 5 Airbnbs, and I'll break down all the prices at the end. I stayed in Canggu for 3 nights because it's the perfect place to chill, relax, surf, eat, drink, and hang by the beach. Then I headed up the mountains for this $40 treehouse Airbnb for 2 nights, where I was surrounded by 7 waterfalls that you can actually cliff dive off of. Google a Ling Ling waterfall. Then I made my way to Ubud, where I went to the spa, chilled, did yoga, and hung at this Airbnb for 3 days. Ubud is centrally located where you can check out temples and also do this amazing swing in the rice fields. Then for 2 more nights, we stayed in this amazing Airbnb in the middle of a rice field in Ubud. Then we drove to the dock, got a speedboat ticket, and headed for the island of Nusa Penida, where we stayed in this amazing Airbnb for 3 nights that overlooks the volcano with an infinity pool. Nusa Penida is perfect for those who want to adventure in the outdoors. In total, for 2 people in 14 days, the flight was $400 round trip, food was $256, 5 Airbnbs, which you can find a lot cheaper, $972, for a total of $1,628 per person. Let me know if you have any questions.
Here are all the reasons why you have to visit Bali on your next trip. So for starters, the villas here are super cheap. If you guys have seen in my other videos, you can get a villa easily for under $100 a night. The next thing is the food is amazing here, and it's also really cheap. Our whole bill came to $20 for a whole bunch of things. It's super Instagrammable, and look at this food. I literally dream about it, and I already can't wait to go back. I will be doing another video reviewing all of these amazing restaurants, so stay tuned. Bali has really beautiful rice terraces like this one right here located in Ubud. You can get a flower bath at some of the hotels like we did, and you can also get breakfast served in your pool, which is pretty cool. The nightlife in Bali is also so much fun, which I will be covering in the next video.
How much does it cost to live in Bali and go spearfishing every day? A beautiful villa with a pool and a view, $500 a month. But you can still get something nice for closer to $100. A spear gun handmade right here on the island, $200 to $1,000, depending on the gun, which is nothing compared to the value of all the fish you can catch with it. Motorbike rental with a surfboard rack to hold my spear guns, $1 a day. Motorbike insurance. Did I mention this is Indonesia? A full-time boat driver, $250 a month. Food, easily less than $3 a day, or free if you get fish. Toilet paper for your inevitable diarrhea, $10 a month. Only having to work on Saturdays and Sundays, priceless.
Waterfall and is breathtaking. And that's it.
7 things I wish I knew before going to Bali. Number 1, apps to download before getting there. Since they don't have Uber or Lyft, download Gojek or Grab. Download the entire Google Maps offline version of Bali, and you have to download WhatsApp. That's how everyone communicates there. Number 2, there is so much traffic in Bali. I never expected it, but there are scooters and vans everywhere. Number 3, there are small offerings everywhere in Bali. So when you're leaving a store, make sure to look down just to make sure that you're not gonna step on any of the offerings. Number 4, stay in the area that you wanna be in. I stayed on the outskirts of Canggu and totally regretted it because I needed to rent a scooter and I didn't actually know how to drive one. Number 5, there are a lot of tourists that come to Bali, so go to the locations that you want early or else you're gonna be waiting in line for a long time. Number 6 and 7 have to do with money. There are a lot of ATMs, but make sure to check if your credit card's accepted because I had a few that were not. And money exchange, I do it at the hotel or the airport to avoid any scams. What else do you wanna know? I left Los Angeles on a $400 round trip ticket to Bali. When I landed, I had to find my Airbnb host in a sea of people. I hopped in the van and headed to my first location in Canggu. Almost everyone uses a scooter to travel around the island. I decided to stay in Canggu for 3 nights because it was centrally located and I can get everywhere I wanted. Plus, this Airbnb was $98 a night, came with a free swan. Day 2, I hit the beach, headed to a great place called The Lawn. I recommend getting here early so you can save a spot for sunset. Then I grabbed a beer and headed to Pretty Poison for some skateboarding. Day 3, I hired a driver for $50 and headed to Seminyak. You absolutely have to go to the bar Single Fin. Next up is side of the road jackfruit as we made our way to the mountains, where we found this $40 treehouse Airbnb right next to the waterfall. Like for part 2. Next up is side of the road jackfruit as we made our way to the mountains, where we found this $40 treehouse Airbnb right in the middle of 7 waterfalls. Plus they had 4 swings on property and a beautiful marigold field you have to walk through to get to the waterfalls. This one's called Blue Lagoon. Make sure to Google a Ling Ling waterfall. Also make sure to be careful on a scooter because we crashed, looking at the rice fields. Also be careful of bugs. Day 6, we drove about an hour and a half down to Ubud and stopped at this beautiful temple on the way to our next location. Like for part 2 and the rest of our journey. Bali Part 3. For days 7 through 10, we were a bit tired from the mountains, so we stayed in this luxurious resort in Ubud. This spot was about $98 a night and came with free breakfast and this beautiful sunrise pool. I woke up the next day and went to the rice fields, where if you get there early, you can do this amazing swing, but definitely get there early or else you will wait in line. After the swings, I went to the water temple. Make sure to Google the ritual before you go and rent a sarong at the front. Then after, go grab lunch in a rice field. Then something bad happened. I became really sick and had to go to the doctor. I looked at reviews for nearby urgent cares, and this one was amazing and they actually picked me up. Check out part 4 to find out what happened next. Bali Part 4. After I got back from urgent care, I had strep throat and slept for 3 days. When that was over, we went to the coolest Airbnb in the middle of a rice field called the Benu House. This was our 4th Airbnb in our 14-day trip. There's a video on my feed that has every single Airbnb we stayed in. After I felt better, this amazing traditional cooking class where you could pick your own food. Plus, you can touch a sensitive plant. This farm is one of the last organic farms in Ubud. And what's great is all the money from the class actually goes towards teaching high school kids how to traditionally farm. Here's the info for the class. Then at 3 a.m. that morning, we decided to climb the volcano Mount Batar. I swear this was the hardest hike of my life and I've never been so mad. This is what we were supposed to see, so still do it because it's amazing. Then we went to the hot springs next door, enjoyed the view of the volcano we just climbed, and packed our bags and headed to Nusa Penida. Follow for part 5. Bali Part 5. We left Bali on a speedboat and headed for a more remote island called Nusa Penida, where we stayed in this beautiful mountain Airbnb where we overlooked the volcano and this amazing infinity pool. This place had 3 beds and 3 baths and was $85 a night. One thing you'll learn is Bali has a lot of traffic. Leave early so the roads are clear. Nusa Penida is famous for clinking beach. Some say it even looks like a T-Rex. The path to get to the beach is a little treacherous, but it's totally worth it once you do. So you can see a couple manta rays. Make sure to pack light because it's a hike back up. But I mean, this picture is totally worth it. Walk a little further up the mountain and say hey to the monkeys, and grab a bintang and watch the sunset. Look for part 6. Bali Part 6. Woke up early to beat the crowd to see the natural infinity pool on Nusa Penida. Make sure to check when low tide is or else it's too dangerous to swim. Then we scootered to the hidden water temple on the side of a cliff, where you climb down 500 stairs to get to the hidden water pool. Make sure to bring a sarong or you can rent one from the parking lot. 100% this was my favorite part of Nusa Penida. And we scootered 30 more minutes to a hidden beach with a natural pool and cliff jumping, plus this really cool rock formation. The rocks represent your family members. After scootering around Nusa Penida for 3 days, packed our stuff and headed back to Bali, where we had a couple hours to kill before our flight and headed to the famous Potato Head and Seminyak. I had my last shell drink and headed back to the States. Overall, Bali was one of the most incredible adventures of my life. In my next 2 videos, I'm going to be breaking down the entire cost of the trip and all of the things that I wish I learned before going to Bali. If you have any more questions, let me know and I'll try to answer them in the next video. Till then, thanks for watching.
Oh. This is what a day in Ubud, Bali looks like. This right here is the monkey forest, where monkeys like this just roam around freely. They actually let you get pretty close to them because they're used to humans. It cost about 100 IDR to get in, and this was our hotel in the morning when we started, got some coffee, got some breakfast.
We're gonna go see the monkeys.
Headed out to see the monkeys. And you can actually walk around. They're just everywhere chilling. You can feed them some snacks. But one thing you do need to be careful of is they can get a little vicious. So you are warned that you don't want to get too close to them, just because if so, they will try and bite you. Like this.
Look, it's you. Okay, no.